Hello YouTubers, this is Cessna Ace back again with another video. A couple of nights ago I was surfing YouTube and I came across some videos that had been uploaded by various channels on their various paranormal experiences, and it dawned on me that it had been quite a while since I last did one of these videos. In fact, I've only done one other video on the paranormal experiences that I've had, and I've had a lot. But to reiterate what I mentioned in that first video, I try hard not to do any research on any kind of paranormal experience until I've had the experience personally. This isn't always easy because you look up one paranormal experience and they intertwine two or three different types of the same kind of basic experience. But that's what I try to do. I try not to do any kind of research on something until it has happened to me. I'm not quite sure how to explain this and still sound lucid, but this sort of has to do with precognition. Sort of. You know how, if you've seen any shows on the History Channel, you might have seen stuff like this. Haunted Gettysburg and that sort of thing. Key battles of the American Civil War. People see apparitions quite frequently, but they don't interact with anyone. People see them, but if they try to talk to them and so forth, they don't get any response. Now, the theory is that the atmosphere in these places is such that it acts as a tape recorder and records events that are very traumatic or have a lot of energy attached to them, and Civil War battles would certainly qualify for that. This is kind of like that, except with a difference. Now, I was home alone. I wasn't feeling well. I went to go lie down. I laid down. No sooner did my head hit the pillow, but then I heard the front door burst open and my two daughters come in, and they were arguing big time. I couldn't tell about what, but they were arguing. I got up to see what was going on because I glanced at the clock and they shouldn't have been at home because they should have been at school. Well, entered the living room, no sign of anybody. The door was still closed, the door was still locked. I looked out the kitchen window, which is right there. My car was in the driveway, my wife's wasn't. So there was not the possibility that she had picked them up from school and dropped them off and then they disappeared somewhere into a black hole or something like that. So that kind of unnerved me, but I went and I lied down a second time. And again, no sooner had my head hit the pillow, I heard the front door burst open and I heard my two daughters arguing very loudly about something. But again, I couldn't tell what they were arguing about. I got up, came into the living room, nobody there. I checked out the kitchen sink window. My car was there in the driveway, my wife's wasn't. Which is not to be unexpected because the kids were supposed to still be in school. Well, I lied down a third time and I must have fallen asleep because I suddenly heard this bam, front door bursting open, and I heard my two daughters arguing about something. I got up, came into the living room, and there they were. Now, the research that I did, from what I can remember, this is something that is experienced more in Scandinavian countries than anywhere else. I have a lot of subscribers in Scandinavian countries like Norway and Denmark and Finland and Sweden, the Netherlands, and so forth. So if any of you out there have heard of this, let me know. But it's like you hear a recording of an event that hasn't happened yet, which is really freaky. Another paranormal experience that I had, I figured, well, I'll give you two for the price of one. Again, I wasn't feeling well, and I went to lay down, and I had my head on the pillow, and I was facing the way I normally face, which is towards the closet, which leaves most of the bed area unobserved. Anyone who has ever had a cat will know what this feeling is like. By the way, at the time, we only had one cat. We now have 3 indoor cats, and we take care of 5 strays. But at the time, we had one cat. Well, I was lying down, and I heard the distinct sound of an animal the size of a cat jump up on a bed and walk towards me. And I turned around and faced that direction. Nothing there. So I got up and I looked everywhere for Leslie. That's the one cat we had at that time. She was a cat that belonged to our neighbors. Our neighbors suddenly moved and they left that cat behind, which really bothered me because, hey, how could you do something like that to an animal? And B, Leslie was a very sweet cat. Anyway, I finally found Leslie outside. That's weird. Well, I had a cat growing up from the age of 10 to about 24, 25. Had her ever since she was a kitten. I did some research and found that sometimes deceased animals will pay a visit with, I don't want to say former masters, but the persons that they lived with when they were alive. And that got me to thinking, that is cool. If it's true, if that's what happened, that is really cool. Because I absolutely love that cat. Now, flash forward a couple of years. I'd gone to bed. My wife had gone to bed. I was having a dream. I was in my deceased grandmother's, on my dad's side, his mother. I was in her house, and I saw her reclined in the reclining chair watching TV. And I immediately knew something was not right because I never saw her do that. She never reclined. She always sat right at the front of the chair and watched the TV that way. That way she could just reach over and change the channel if she wanted to. So I said to myself, and I'm capable of lucid dreaming. I'm dreaming. But I'm not dreaming a normal dream. It's kind of hard to explain how I knew this, but anyway, I walked over to where she was, and I leaned over, and I said, I love you, Grandma. And she looked up at me, and she said, I love you too, sweetie. Then I turned around and walked into the hall, and I came across the most beautiful woman you have ever seen in your life. And for some reason I felt an uncontrollable urge to use the bathroom. So I ran into the bathroom and locked the door and proceeded to go about using the bathroom when I realized the toilet was on the wrong side. It was on the against the opposite side than it was supposed to be. Everything was a mirror image of what it should have been. So I said to myself again, I'm dreaming. At which point I woke up and I was really excited. I woke my wife up, and I told her my grandmother came and visited me in my dream. And I don't recall if my wife asked me, well, how do you know if you didn't just dream it? So I know that was her. She'd come to visit me, and because when she died, I was at her graveside, and I regretted the fact that as often as I stayed with her, and as often as we hugged and everything, I had never really said, Grandma, I love you. And that always bothered me. So I told my wife, I'm convinced this was her giving me the opportunity to tell her that I love her. Well, after that experience, I did some research and found that yes, the deceased will sometimes pay a visit to us in our dreams. But you can always tell that it's a visitation and not just a dream. For one thing, you notice details and remember them for the rest of your life, unlike most dreams. Most dreams, within just a few minutes, they start to disappear. If it's a really traumatic dream or something, you might remember it for a few hours. But you're not going to remember that dream 20 years later. Well, it's been close to 10 years since I had this dream, and I remember every single detail. So I am convinced that she visited me in my dream. Okay, that's enough for now. There are other paranormal experiences that I've had, and quite a few near-death experiences, but I'll get into those in subsequent videos, and of course I will continue to show my DVD collection and so forth. Got in some British comics yesterday. I'm planning on doing a video when I get more in on comparing British comics with American comics. Anyway, until next time, stay awesome. Try not to do any kind of research on something until it has happened to me. I'm not quite sure how to explain this and still sound lucid. This isn't always easy because you look up one paranormal experience and they intertwine 2 or 3 different types of the same kind of basic experience. But that's what I try to do. Hello YouTubers, this is Cessna Ace back again with another video. A couple of nights ago I was surfing YouTube and I came across some videos that had been uploaded by various channels. But to reiterate what I mentioned in that first video, I try hard not to do any research on any kind of paranormal experience until I've had the experience personally, their various paranormal experiences, and it dawned on me that it had been quite a while since I last did one of these videos. In fact, I've only done one other video on the paranormal experiences that I've had, and I've had a lot.